Welcome to the show, Jocelyn. It is a pleasure to have you with us today. Tell our audience exactly who you are and a little bit of what they can expect to hear about you from our interview.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure.
I'm so happy to be here.
All right.
So I'm a New York-based photographer. So I do wedding photography. I do portrait photography. And I also, not related to photography, but I also kind of went through like a weight loss journey, and I also made that public online. So put it on Instagram, I put it on YouTube. So I feel like I'm just a plethora of a bunch of different things.
Well, that's why we have you on the show today, because we felt that you'd bring incredible amount of value to our listeners. You're a business owner, entrepreneur, photographer. You do this for real. This is not some just fake, like, I got an iPhone, I'm gonna take some pictures, post on Instagram. You do this.
It's for reals.
And then you also have, for reals, I like that. I don't remember ever like pluralizing that in my day.
Reals.
For reals, with the Z, the 3 Z's. But you also have a very inspiring story to tell with your weight loss journey. And when I learned about that more recently, I said, we have to have her on the show to talk about that, because I feel like there may be people struggling with the insecurity, their perspective, how they view themselves. So when you share your story, you'll give light to how God worked in you through that, but also what you did practically to help overcome that scenario. Julian, is there anything you want to say before we jump into the interview here? You're kind of silent.
Nah, because I'm just excited to get the answers to these questions. Honestly, I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about this interview. So let's get it started.
Let's go ahead and get it started. Jocelyn, where did your interest and passion for photography start? Let us know the details from the beginning, the nitty gritty.
From the beginning.
Let's see. So in my mom's womb, you know.
Wow, it started in the mother's womb.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Ever since I was young, I've always had a camera. And thinking about it, my grandfather always had a camera in his hand. So he's like the reason why I have so many baby pictures. Obviously, my parents took them too.
Right.
But my grandfather was like, always had a video camera, always had like an actual camera. I feel like I got that from there. And then growing up, I always had a camera, like a little point and shoot. And then when I turned 21, my parents bought me like a for reals camera. Again,
for reals, the 3 Z's.
A for reals is a camera. And then from there, I just found that I loved being in business for myself, and I loved photography, and I bought my own camera.
With that, I would say you have enough experience and confidence to start your own business and begin your journey down the road of entrepreneurship.
Down the
I can't
road.
even say that. Entrepreneurship.
You know, I have a big trouble. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I like to consider myself that. I mean, I've been putting in enough work here for years, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm calling myself an entrepreneur. I can barely spell it sometimes, though, man. You know, the E and the U at the end is like super confusing.
It's so true.
Entrepreneurship.
I was like, I want to make sure I sound smart and I'm saying this right. Entrepreneurship. Preneur.
I mean, you can definitely make it sound French. Absolutely. I let autocorrect really dictate how it's spelled.
Same, 100%.
I see that red underline, and I'm like, bro, you're such a failure. You can't even spell entrepreneurship. Anyway, go ahead.
Sometimes I wish life was that easy and we could autocorrect our mistakes in our businesses. With that being said, what were some of the biggest challenges of getting your business started?
Wow.
Oh, that's a good question. So just honestly, like getting the courage to say, this is what I want to do. I worked for a photography company previous to like starting my own business. So when I worked there, I was like, this is cool, but like, I don't want to do this for you. I want to do this for me. So when I decided that I wanted to quit and start my own business, it just kind of gave me the push to like actually do it. But there are so many challenges, like starting a business, keeping up with your business. I feel like, just the first challenge is just getting the courage to say, I have the talent to do this. I have the drive to do this, even though I may not like be the smartest or the best at all of these things.
That's the biggest challenge is believing that you have the capability to do it. And sometimes, most of the times, we feel that we're not intelligent enough. There's somebody else out there doing it better.
Smarter.
Right.
They have more education. They have better gear. They have gear's a big thing.
That's the biggest challenge is really trying to see if this is something that you can do on the lower budget that you have with the lesser quality gear. Like, how do you get out there and compete with people that are doing it way more extensively with gear, and then you have like this new like $300 camera, like how do you gain clients and allow them to believe that you're going to give them the quality that they need for their photo shoot, for their wedding pictures with your $300 camera?
I feel like you have to start somewhere. Like you have to start somewhere. And there's always someone else. Yes, there's always someone better than you, but there's always someone like there's always people on the same level as you too. Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to go out and shoot somebody's wedding on a $300 camera. You know what I'm saying? Or
Julian, you might want to cancel this weekend's plans.
Listen, that Canon EOS 80D was expensive.
Okay?
I dropped a good amount of money on that.
Yeah.
Listen, I won't play you. I know it's a good camera, okay?
Don't knock nobody's hustle now.
Listen, you got to do what you got to do. I get it. But I mean, like, you're not going to go out and shoot a wedding. But why not shoot family pictures? Or why not? Like, you can't, like, when you're first starting out, and I made this mistake too. I'm like, but this person has $7,000 worth of gear, and I have this $500 camera. I'm never going to make it. But you can.
You know, one of the biggest issues, challenges that people have is social media. Now, in today's day and age, it's like you have to have the Instagram account, especially for photography, the Facebook account. And it's tough because it's so difficult to get noticed or seen because of the algorithm. How has social media impacted your business, either negatively or positively? Share with us some of your experiences with the social media giants today.
I hate social media.
I knew it was coming.
On her face.
She was like, can we just get this question over with, please?
It is so annoying on so many levels. Like, it's just, but it's like you feel like you need it. You feel like, how am I going to reach people if I don't have an Instagram account or a Facebook account? Okay, so I will say, as far as social media is concerned and Instagram is concerned, I've never gotten a client off of Instagram. Maybe once or twice.
Wow.
Never. When I was putting so much effort into Instagram, making sure I posted every day, making sure that everything.
I remember we spoke about that actually.
Making sure everything matches, all the same filters, that I'm not being too personal or I'm not being. It's like trying to find a balance between being too personal on Instagram when you have a business and then being not personal at all. Like, I remember you said, well, I don't get any views on my Instagram stories when I'm posting.
I didn't say that, Jocelyn. No. I get a lot of views on my Instagram.
No, this is a long time ago.
Cut, edit. It's not part of the script, Jocelyn.
I'm sorry. No. This was a long time ago. We had this conversation.
10 years ago, all right?
Okay, no, you said, okay, I'm putting you out there. You were like, when I want somebody to see something, they never see it, but I put a picture of my dog on my stories and everybody's like all about it. And the same is with me. So I just put pictures of my cats on my Instagram story.
I was about to say, that's the answer.
And I get hundreds of views now if I just put my cats on there. So, I mean, don't put your cats on there just to get views. But,
it's a sad life.
It is. It really is.
You can do it for your cats, just not your kids, maybe.
Yeah, don't put your kids. We don't like them. No, I'm just kidding. Don't.
We don't want to keep on seeing you kids.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, but it's true. So
it's raw. I love it. Transparency.
I'm sorry. So I mean, so now I'll tell you, I don't even post on my Instagram very often anymore.
Wow, facts. Wow,
I don't. It's pointless.
Well, your business is a referral type business.
And
word of mouth.
Yeah, and can I tell you that's where I'm heading right now. That's more so than I was before. Referrals. I'm not going to take anybody random messaging me. Also because my schedule's a little bit more tighter nowadays. But I've gotten maybe 2 clients on Instagram in the 5 years that I've had my Instagram.
What about editing? Because for me as an audio guy, I could have people come to my studio, or I can just be a mixing engineer and have people just give me their already recorded product. Is that the same way in photography?
Yeah. I could actually hire an editor. There are all these online businesses that will take all my photos and edit it for me, and then I can send them out to my clients.
Right.
And if I wanted to make my own business doing that for other people, I could. Yeah. But I hate editing. It's the worst part of my job, in my opinion. For me.
I would imagine that's kind of a tedious process.
It's honestly, I hate it.
It's always nice when you're able to capture that photo and there's just nothing that you really need to do. And if there is something, you just bring the colors out a little more.
Well, especially because if the lighting is good,
bring those greens out a little more.
It gets crazy when they want you to edit out full people or
I remember
they want you to add a person, and it's I'm not even lying. I'm not kidding.
What do you think this is, an album cover?
I'm not a graphic designer,
No,
y'all.
like this is real life. Like, and this has happened to me recently. Can you edit out? She had a wedding. And can you edit out some of the people in the background? It's your wedding. Are you serious?
Can you just edit out my husband?
No,
Just, you know?
just me. Just put me. I'm like,
Put Chris
are you
Hemsworth's
kidding me?
face on his body.
It's crazy. People are crazy. It's I can't.
Facts.
Oh my gosh.
So, what we do for a living can really affect our lives.
Facts.
And being your own boss for a while now, can you truly say that this path, rather than the path of a regular 9-to-5 job, has brought you fulfillment and passion that successful entrepreneurs always talk about?
In certain ways, sure. In certain ways, I feel fulfilled creatively, for sure. I wouldn't say that it's bought me this all around life. Like I'm so fulfilled in life because I get to be my own boss. Like that's like I don't feel that way. I have other goals outside of my business and being creative. I want to continue my education. I want to finish my education. I want to, delve into some other things. It's brought fulfillment to an extent, but not like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like some people lie.
I was thinking the same thing. I feel like if you only stay focused on these people on Instagram that own these businesses and you always see their sponsored ads, if you want to do this, here's the course, follow me and we'll teach you how to do that's why the question was, has it brought you fulfillment and passion that successful entrepreneurs always talk about? And I wonder if there's more people in our shoes than we actually think.
I think so. 100%.
Trying to make them seem like their business is always prospering and now they have something to teach you, but they'll sell it to you.
People are always lying on social media. Like, oh God, it's just literally, and we do it too, to an extent.
We do.
We do. I have, oh my God, my I have shoots and like naturally. People,
Oh, don't forget to move your Rolls Royce. You parked in my spot.
Exactly. Exactly. Going on Instagram stories like, oh my God, I just bought this brand new Rolls Royce with this wedding that I just did. And it's like, okay, good for you, but like, why am I not there?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's
Well, you
just
got to
lies.
work harder there, Jocelyn.
Exactly. But
Put some
nobody
elbow
tells you
grease
that.
into it.
Can I tell you, I went to a retreat.
Okay.
I think I told you this before, but I paid like $1,000 to get to this retreat. And I was a little bit younger in my business at the time. So I felt like she was kind of advertising, let me show you how to like edit and like run your business. And like, I paid $1,000 to get to this retreat. I get there and it was the biggest waste of time
my God.
in my entire life. She was just like, oh, well, this is how I edit and this is how I run my business. Here's some notes you could take from me. And after that, I was like, I will never, unless it's something technical where it's like Photoshop related or like something that I can technically like, do, I will never spend another dollar.
We live in a... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, that sounds like those little ads that come up on YouTube where it's like, are you struggling in your business?
Yes!
Here are the 5 tips. I got
I
5
know,
tips.
I know,
And
I
what
know.
I do in these tips are going to teach you how to do this. So let me tell you about these tips.
Put your email here. Put your email here, and I will email you all these tips. And then you click on the email. It's $100 just to get.
I know. Oh no, they put you through a click funnel, which is basically like you put your
hate
email
that.
in, then you get your first thing, your first free thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the maybe the value. I understand the mode. I understand how it works and how it could work. But there's so much of it going on, and you have to think. In the online era that we live in today, is this really the only way that a business can thrive? I understand businesses need social media to some degree, but if you're in a referral business where you shoot somebody's photos and then they tell somebody and then that person, that's the way. And I even contacted on a free, not a free, but like somebody's Instagram live that they were holding. And I asked a question and he answered it. And, it was advice that I needed for my business. And the guy said that your business is more of a referral business. And that's really where you're going to thrive. So it kind of goes back to the question, like the impact of social media. Do we need to stress and we could definitely create these funnels ourselves, but we're not like what's the business called where people go like affiliate marketing and things like that. It's a little bit different for us. So I hear you when you say about, you've kind of given up on social media because I'm like 3 likes away from just calling it quits myself.
The 3 likes that it takes me a year to get.
For real.
It's true.
Listen, there's a quote from Dale Partridge. I don't know if you know him. He's an entrepreneur as well, and he's been like a mentor to me. Great dude, Christian as well. And he says that success at work without success at home isn't success at all. Okay. So as entrepreneurs, Jocelyn, we can pour all of our waking hours, our energy, and our worth into our businesses, especially in the building stages. What have you done to overcome this and achieve more balance in your family life?
That's hard. Balance is so
I know.
hard. It's not so much anymore, but when we first started and I decided to quit my more than full-time job, it was, to be at home and to try to find, balance in that was really hard. I would say at first, I would tell my husband, okay, from 9 to 3, I'm going to work nonstop. And then after 3 o'clock, that's it. Computers are off, phones are off. Never worked out that way. Never. I'd get a client phone call at 5, or someone wants to talk at 8, or I, get a request at 10. And it's like, at first it was tough because Mike was like, Jocelyn, like, get off your phone, get off the computer.
Right.
Honestly, for me, it just took time and trying to just work it out and see what works best for me.
Right.
I work better at night than I do during the day. So I'm kind of a night owl. I'm up till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just more of a night owl. So the 9 to 3 thing doesn't really work for me. But it's just, you just have to figure out what works for you and like your family.
Absolutely.
And trial and error,
One thing I learned is you have to be super, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to make the time. You have to fit it in the schedule. You can't just say, well, we'll see what happens. Like, you have to plan this out. And it kind of, it's not cool because it's very unnatural to have a family and plan out, okay, I'm going to spend time with my husband, with my wife today at this time.
And that's true. And for a while, I was winging it. I was like, all right, whatever, like whatever happens. And, Mike will be there for me whenever. But I started noticing that when I was doing that, my schedule was filling up more and just more was being put up on my plate. And by the end of a week, a weekend, it's like I didn't get to spend any time with my husband or my family because I was working and I didn't plan it out, or I didn't say no, or I didn't set boundaries,
Yeah, that's tough.
I had the same exact problem at my home, where it was like, focusing so much on the podcast, and then I also have the job. I have the 9 to 5 that I'm doing, as well as the podcast. And one thing that helped me, that I feel it may not work for everybody, but what happened is, with the podcast, I work a lot on it. I'm always on the computer. I'm always doing stuff here. I just got my wife involved, asked for her input, whenever I listen to the podcast.
That's a really good idea.
A wife's input is
a really good idea.
Super crucial.
And it made everything better, because now, as I'm listening through the podcast, she's listening with me saying, oh, Jules, that would be a great video.
Derek guy is really ridiculous sometimes.
Tell Dax to shut up more so you can talk. I want to hear you, Jules.
You're fired, Julian. You're fired. You're fired.
But yeah, that I found that made things so much better, just asking for her input. What do you think about this video? Would you mind editing the fonts for this? Because she's got a really good eye for fonts. Could you make an Instagram post for me? This, that, and the third. That way it feels more like our project instead of just my project.
That's a really good idea. I like it.
So now you're telling me that I have to put the wife on the payroll as well. Is that what you're saying? I mean, you didn't tell me this, Julian. I was not aware that we had another employee working for us.
You're going to have to slide her a paycheck here and there,
Listen, you could pay her in a date night. You could pay. There's lots of different ways.
There's something called an IOU.
That is messed up.
I got you later, babe. So there is another journey that you're on, which I'm sure many people would love to know about. I actually didn't know about this journey until just before this interview. You shared with me that you struggled with weight issues for a while. And one day you had a complete shift in your perception of yourself and decided to let the world in on one of your biggest insecurities. Let our audience know the struggles you've experienced in trying to lose weight and dealing with that pressure to be thinner, and what changed to make you finally accept yourself as you were.
This is a long one.
That's a loaded question.
It is. It's super loaded. Let's break
Take
this.
your time.
Let's break this down. No. So I've struggled with weight for a really long time. I would say when I was younger, I wasn't overweight, but I've always been like in high school, like a little bit bigger than my friends in different ways. So like I always noticed. And then when I got older, like in my early 20s, I kind of started like, you go, it's life. You go through things and I always turn to food to kind of like be my comfort. So through the years, I gained a lot of weight. Then I would lose a lot of weight. I'd get really thin and then I would gain more than I had originally, lost in the beginning. So it was just this really rough cycle of like gaining and losing and gaining and losing. So then when I got married, when you get married, all you want to do is eat. So
Yes.
literally, you're like pizza, diner, more pizza, Chinese, and
Never salad, never.
salad. Salad was like out of
Who
the
wants
question. Me and Mike would literally get large pie and eat the whole thing in between us. Like the whole thing. And
my
then we'd go to
goodness.
sleep and wake up and go to the diner. And there was a diner at the corner, so we'd go to the diner. We wouldn't even walk because you could walk. We wouldn't even walk. We would drive to the diner, eat. Like it was just a mess. So like I ate out of happiness. I was happy. And then 3 years after we get married, I'm like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I don't fit in any of the clothes that I used to fit in. So I always knew weight loss surgery was a thing, but I didn't know I could get it. I didn't have insurance for a while, so I didn't even consider it.
Right.
And then I started hearing more about it, and we got insurance because Mike got a new job, and I was like, maybe I'll consider it. For a year, I was like, maybe I'll consider it. And then I was like, no, only weak people do that. I could totally do this on my own.
Yeah.
And then January came of this year, February came, and I met somebody who got it. And she didn't tell me directly that she got it. I had kind of heard from other people that she had gotten it. And when I saw what she looked like and how happy she was, I was like, oh, wow.
So what's the name of the surgery that you got?
It's called the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. So,
Wow.
yeah. So they open up your stomach. Oh, no, they don't open up. They do it laparoscopically. So I have like 5 scars on my stomach and they do everything with like, I got a robot. A robot did my surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
We've come a long way.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
They're
robot.
replacing us in the hospitals now.
I know, really. My name is Dr. Robot.
They asked me, they were like, are you okay with like a robot doing your surgery? The doctor's like in control behind like a
gosh,
thing.
really?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like,
You
and
okay
I'm
with
glad
an-
I did because I have really no scarring on my stomach anymore.
Hello,
People who-
my name is RoboDoc.
Exactly.
I will be cutting your stomach open.
You know what's crazy? When I got it, they don't roll you into the operating room. You walk into the operating room. And you're like conscious and awake. So like when I walked in, I just saw this robot. It must have been 9 feet tall from the floor to the ceiling.
Wait, it had hands and stuff?
It has,
like robot hands?
No, it's got like, it looks like this. Like
Like the
this.
mic stand?
Yeah, like a
Okay.
mic stand. And there's like 9 of them or something.
Oh my gosh, you had an army of
Crazy.
robots.
You were surrounded by
Literally, it's like
Robo-Nephilim.
one thing and it's got like arms. And I walked in, I
wow.
was like, okay, I can't.
Oh my,
I
that's
can't
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. It was the
Wow.
craziest thing. Yeah.
Wow. I can't, I'm trying to imagine it. I just see like Terminator.
I freaked out. I was like, okay, there's no turning back now.
You're like literally like you're putting your life at stake for a robot to do the job. I mean, I get doctors overseeing it, but
Right.
I mean, you know what? There's you remove the human error aspect, I guess, out of it.
Yeah.
You know, but still, wow, that's very daunting. So, but let me ask you a question, Jocelyn. And many people might be wondering this too. Why surgery? Despite you had met somebody that had it and is successful, why not, let's say, keto, intermittent fasting and exercise, or some other diet that has also shown to be effective? Maybe it'll take longer, be more stressful, challenging, but you think surgery and you think, well, there's always risks.
Right.
You think
It's
keto,
invasive.
intermittent fasting, exactly. You think, well, it's going to be harder, but so what made you make that decision versus trying something else first?
I think there's a few reasons.
Okay.
But before I say that, I think people think that surgery is like the easy way out. But it was probably one of the most, like, just to get to the surgery was really hard.
Yeah.
And then the tax that it took on my body, like the first week, granted, I bounced back really fast. Like, and I think everybody does with this surgery for the most part if you don't have complications. But I've never had surgery. I've never had a kid. Like, I've never, so I've never experienced being in a hospital. But I woke up from that surgery and I felt regret. I was like, wow, why did I do this to myself? I asked myself the same question that you just asked me. Why not keto? Why not intermittent fasting? But to answer your question, I've recognized that I have issues with food. So I've used food as like an emotional crutch. So I could do keto. I would probably overeat on it. I could intermittent fast, but I would probably stuff my face once the fast is over with things that I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
So it's more of an emotional thing. It's not so physical. So when you have surgery, you are very limited on what you could eat, whether, what you could eat and the amounts that you could eat. So
To your understanding, what's the difference between the sleeve and the bypass?
So the bypass, the bypass, they cut your stomach as well, but they also reroute your intestines.
Wow.
So your absorption for different things is different. They say you lose more weight on the bypass, but they suggest bypass for people who have had children, who are a little bit older.
Okay, right.
And then the sleeve, they cut about 80% of your stomach out. So you literally, it's like the size of a small banana.
So right now, like you'll eat a banana and get full?
I can't even eat a banana.
Jeez.
I can't even eat a
Now
banana.
that must be challenging for you in wanting to go out and get pizza. Like
It's
how
so
do you go
sad.
out and have a good time now?
It's so sad. I have to say, I haven't really been out yet. Like, I haven't really gone out.
This is fresh. This surgery
fresh.
is very
This
fresh.
is like 3.5 weeks ago.
Hey.
So
Wow.
I have not gone out yet.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, for real.
No, I feel great. I feel awesome. But yeah, I haven't gone out. I mean, I've had some gatherings, like family gatherings and like church stuff. And it's been okay.
I'll
but,
take the kale, please.
I can't even eat kale.
What?
Yes, I can't.
I love kale.
I love kale too.
Oh, what? Are you guys serious?
Yes.
You don't like kale?
You're
Kale's so
such
good.
millennials.
what?
It's
You know what?
ridiculous.
I gotta get my wife.
Oh
I gotta
my
let
gosh.
my wife make you some kale.
Kale is
I
good.
actually
Off the
really
chain.
loathe kale. I don't like kale at all.
Okay,
I don't
go
like
to
the I don't
Panera.
like the
Get the kale
consistency of it.
salad.
No, I don't like the consistency. It's not lettuce to me. Like it feels different. Like I don't enjoy it. I never like the taste. I don't even like mixing it in like making a kale shake with other things that would mask the
you
kale.
kidding me?
I just don't really enjoy it. No.
Really? I really
No.
enjoy it.
I
I really do.
love
On
kale.
all the levels that you said you do not enjoy it, I enjoy it.
I think you guys just watched the YouTube video about how kale's good for you, and then you force yourself to like kale.
No,
Me,
I really
can't.
like it.
My wife just made kale one day, and I was like, "Listen, she makes everything."
All right, I'll
good,
take your
so
wife's
I'll
kale,
eat
no
it.
problem. But as long as she's not going to be like sensitive to me saying like, not really feeling it.
She'll be all right with it. She'll be all right with
You
it.
gotta try it.
You gotta try that kale,
Please
man.
help
That
him
kale
out.
is something
Help him
else.
out because
Absolutely.
he needs
All right. So next time we meet up, kale salads for everybody.
Yes. A nice big kale salad.
That sounds.
Please make sure I'm here.
That sounds good. Yep. So
So-
Jocelyn will come over to your house and his wife will bring the kale salad,
Yeah.
and we'll all enjoy.
Listen, I don't cook, so
And make sure we got the pizza guy on
everybody's
speed
gotta
dial.
bring, everybody bring your own food. BYOF. 'cause-
BYOK, bring your own kale.
We'll do that.
exactly.
We'll do that, and we'll put it all up on YouTube, which leads to my next question. So you've documented your journey by starting a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And an Instagram page dedicated to this process. The process of losing weight, going through surgery, and life after the surgery. What is your goal and desire in starting these pages and letting people into this aspect of your life?
My goal, my initial goal was to keep myself accountable because I knew that if I put myself out there,
Wow.
I would be less likely to fail. If I knew that people I knew were watching me or people that I didn't know were watching me,
So true.
I'd be less likely to fail. And I need that accountability in my
Yeah.
life for me personally. So that was my initial goal. So now that I've kind of had the page for a while, accumulated a few followers. I just reached like 200 a couple days ago.
Okay,
But,
well,
like,
that's always a win when it comes to social media.
yeah, followers, whatever. So, people are finding me, like people that are thinking of getting the surgery are finding me on this page and they're messaging me.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've never
Wow.
it's like the amount of messages, I probably get like 4 or 5 a day. People ask me, what are you eating? How are you feeling? How did it go? What advice can you give me? How'd you get your insurance to approve it? Like
Oh, wow.
crazy questions. And I love helping people in that way because I'm not super far out in my journey, yet. But I feel like, any help. I remember when I started, I was Googling what happens after vertical sleeve, gastrectomy, or just looking for people to give advice about food and how do you deal with having such a tiny stomach. And I love being that for other people. So that's like my goal now is just to keep sharing
Wow.
and being a support to the people who might need it,
Absolutely.
That's amazing to hear that you can be that support for people. You can be Google or a YouTube search away and provide those answers and that encouragement for people as well, because it's not something like a specific diet. It's
Right.
very far out there. And, if you're there as a person that has experienced that and you can help educate and comfort people in that, in my opinion, that could be a God thing. You know, I feel like that, hey, listen, surgery is always a tough thing, but if you can make something that's so daunting for somebody and then really help to transform their life by encouraging them and then being there for them after, it's kind of like a community.
For sure. There have been people who have messaged me, mostly women. And I don't even know them. And sometimes I just say, look, I'm praying for you. Hey, they'll say, hey, I'm really nervous. And what advice can you give me? I'll give them advice. But listen, you're in my prayers. If you need anything, just message me, you know?
Wow.
You know,
You're better than Google. You offer information and prayer.
I got you. I got everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
That's great. And it's great that we're on the subject of God here. So as an entrepreneur, I've always battled with the will of God for my life. And if God has truly called me to own my own business, but I think regardless, no matter what I've done in my life, whether it be a job or my business now, I realize that God can be glorified in it nonetheless, and his name could be praised in it. So as a Christian, how has God influenced you and how you operate your business, to the degree that clients know that you're a different type of photographer?
Well, that's a hard question. Because I felt like what you said, like I felt like, okay, I made this decision to go into business. Obviously, I prayed about it. I never felt like I got this, like, go, do this. You know what I'm saying? God
right.
just being like, yes, Jocelyn, go.
Which was what we all look for.
Right, but I feel like I never got that.
Yeah.
But I still prayed through it, obviously successful on my own level, But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. What I try to do in my business is I feel like God calls us to treat people the way that he would treat us or that we want to be treated. And that's, it's so easy to say, but you deal with so many people and businesses that are just so like gross and ugly. And you're just like, ugh. But I really just feel like that's what God has called me to do in my business. And, you would think photography is it is an important thing. I think that it's an important thing.
Yeah.
But it's very personal. You get very personal with people. I had this one girl, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, we're coming to New York. We're looking for a photographer. So I kind of was like, okay, like, what are you looking for? What do you need? We got into conversation, and she told me she had gone through IVF for like try to have a child for many, many years, and they couldn't conceive, and she was like, I just want to. She had just had a miscarriage, and she was like, I just want to take pictures of me and my husband. We're done trying to conceive. We had a miscarriage, and I just want to have personal pictures for myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like, that's so personal. Like, and you have to be there for that person in a way. And you have to, I really had to pray about that before I went in, because that's just so personal. And it's just also something that I really can't relate with on a personal level. Right. But I just try to say, okay, God, like, just give me the right words, like, give me the right attitude, give me the right actions to deal with this person and their situation. And he did, and it was amazing. And we're friends. We're friends now.
Wow.
So like, I feel like that's what God is doing for me in my business. I don't feel like he's so even interested right now in the technical aspects of everything. We think God is so interested in the technical stuff of our business and what we're doing. But he's like, I don't care. I don't care that you just bought a camera, or that like what kind of camera you're using, or where you want to open a studio. Like, I care how you're treating the people that you come across
Holy
with.
Spirit fire!
So, I mean, if that made any sense.
No, that was
absolutely.
complete sense. And
So,
I think the most confusing thing about the entrepreneurial journey is that when you embark on it, you're thinking so much about, okay, God's will, but you kind of throw all of your talents and gifts out of the window, and you forget that you have these gifts. And when you commit them to God, he guides your thoughts and he guides your steps. That's biblical as well. So it's like when you have these dreams and stuff like that, when you say, okay, I want to use this to glorify God, it's pretty natural. It comes natural. So when you don't hear God saying, yeah, go do this, it's probably because he's like, yeah, I'm telling you to do this through your own thoughts, which is amazing. So with that being said.
Wow. I just want to add something too real quick is as you were speaking, and you gave a great answer, and it kind of like, as a Christian in our businesses, we're not always called per se to be ministers. Like, in other words, like every client you have, I'm going to evangelize to you, right? So that's not always the call.
No.
You can definitely claim yourself to be a Christian photographer. You can make your business branded completely as that, right? But as a photographer with a service, sometimes we also lose sight on the fact that God calls us to be amazing at customer service. God calls us to have impeccable morals and ethics in our business. We don't lose a dime nor cheat people out of a dime. It's those things that are done behind the scenes that people may not know that God sees. So, and eventually God will bless that and bring you clients because of that. And it's when I do my business here, I make sure that all of my clients know that I'm a bit different. Just maybe sometimes in my personality, how upbeat I may be, how willing I am to jump out of my seat and be like, what do you need? I got you. You know, want me to do this real quick? And just be like, hey, do you want a cup of coffee? You know, I can't provide you with a 5-course meal, but I can definitely serve you some coffee.
Right.
Like something that just shows them like, I enjoy coming here and I enjoy giving you my money.
Right.
And I also know that, you charge me this, but you're not docking me every other minute over the time. You're really about making sure I walk out with a finished product and happy more than just, hey, you stay an extra 15 minutes, that's going to be this.
Right.
And that's fine if you do that.
Right.
But that's the way that I try to show people that, hey, I'm a bit different. And at the end of the day, that may be a seed planted where somebody says, why do you do that for? Let me tell you why. You see what I'm saying? And it opens the gateway. So you got to give God the opportunity always to you got to leave that door open for God to do work. And sometimes that's just making sure that you walk in, you're on time, you leave later than everybody else, and that you operate your business in such a way where you say, God, I know that you're glorified and honoring this because behind the scenes, I'm doing this for you.
Right.
And all of the small details really matter. And I
Right.
think that's what makes a Christian photographer,
I
a
agree.
Christian entrepreneur, if you're not
definitely-
branding yourself as that per
Right.
se.
I
Right.
definitely noticed that about the both of you, actually. When I first started coming here to record music and stuff, I was nervous a little bit because, you're going into someone else's establishment and this is their thing, this is their baby. And I'm new to music altogether. So it's like, when I go in that booth, I'm trying to impress the dude that's got to mix it and all of that. but Dax never gave me that feeling of, all right, dude, you better do something great in there. Otherwise, I'm not mixing your
No
music.
Stop wasting my
No
time,
pressure.
bro.
This better not be trash. I'm not trying to waste my time on you. Like, he really is. He was very patient. He never offered me a cup of coffee. Good, because I would have said no.
He would have taken it anyway.
I'd have said no. But he definitely had that patience. And the same thing with you when you came by today. It was a very open and genuineness of a personable desire to be just what's it called? Personal with people.
You can tell that
good with
she's very
people.
personable.
Yes,
and that
like
she
she-
conducts her business in a way that it's not just, okay, let me take your photos and call it a day.
Yeah.
You're building relationships.
Yeah.
You're making sure that they feel at ease and comfortable because they're paying you a lot of money and you can't negate that. It's a business, but they're paying you in confidence. And I
Right.
think that's what you meant to say because Jocelyn comes in
Absolutely.
here all
Absolutely.
bubbly, and
And it's like, oh, you're good to work, good people to work with, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what you guys are. So,
thank you, Julian. I appreciate that. That was really
Yeah, that was
very
very
nice
nice.
of you to
Thank
say.
you.
You guys are so.
Julian's a
kind.
great guy too. Let me tell you.
Yes.
I wish he would actually accept my cups of coffee. And sometimes I want to also put a note there. Sometimes, like today, I went and I bought the Starbucks coffee. I have a Verismo machine, right? Sometimes I don't always have the pods because I'm building a business and you got to spend
Budgets,
money on the
budgets.
pods. I got a budget, and I don't want to offer people like the instant coffee that I have downstairs that I'll drink still like in the morning time if I don't got the
God.
pods. So if I don't offer you coffee when you come to my studio, it's because times may be a little rough, and I don't want to have you suffer drinking instant coffee. Nobody likes it. I don't want you to leave my studio and be like, yo, the other kind of coffee he offered me was like, bro, I am never going back to that studio again.
Times be rough now, but down the line, I'm praying that it'll be a totally different perspective on life. It'll be different for us. And speaking of that,
Praise the Lord.
5 to 10 years from now, what's your big vision?
Ooh.
My life vision or my entrepreneurial?
General, as it fits into the life, or just so as you start a business, how is that going to impact your life? What's your big goal? It doesn't even have to be business. Just where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Doing what? Serving who? Living where?
I feel like I have so many goals. I
Right.
feel so scatterbrained sometimes. 'Cause
I know.
do you ever compartmentalize
Too
your
much.
life where
Too
it's
much.
like, okay, if I take this route and I do this, this is how I feel my
Yep.
life would end
Yep.
up. And then you go to the other side and you're like, but if I
Yep.
do this, I feel like my life will end up there.
Oh, yeah.
So I compartmentalize a lot. Sorry, my brain is
No, that's
like,
okay.
you know.
That's okay. It's like that word entrepreneur. I never know how to spell that word anymore.
Entrepreneur. So honestly, I don't know. Like as far as my business, I would love to still be in business. I would love to have a partner in business.
Okay.
That's something that I'm looking forward to.
Teach me photography.
I got you. I would love to have a partner. It's so hard to do it by yourself sometimes. I feel so lonely sometimes. I'm like, oh, like I wish I had somebody to go with to these
Or
places.
how about having somebody that will actually take the time to edit?
Oh, if
That
I could,
is
my
the
God.
thing.
If I could find somebody that just loves to edit, I feel like my life would be made. Like I would just be living my dream.
Yes,
But
yes,
as far as like my life, I want to be able to help provide for my family, and I would love that. I would love for that to be my business. I just want to live my life, not have to worry about, finances in my business. And oh my gosh, is my business like, are we doing okay? Are we sinking? So my goal within the next, I would love to be 5 years, because I feel like 10 years,
It's like
10 years is a little,
a little crazy.
So within the next 5 years, be able to have a partner and be able to see my business flourish to a point where it would help, it would, obviously my husband makes some money and then, I do too, but just not have to worry so much. I hate worrying. I feel like it's part of our job.
It really is.
I really feel it's part of our job.
Comes with the territory.
Jocelyn, listen, you've kind of exposed the true entrepreneur. When you say worrying, I don't want to do this and fine. It's just the journey that we're all on as people that are trying to do something with their passions. I think we live in an era where that's kind of becoming the norm versus the couple generations ago, it was like grab a job, work hard all day long, provide for your family.
Were still there.
I feel you. I don't know if
really do. I wish we were still there.
If you heard a couple episodes ago where we played a game and they asked me what would be my favorite place or time to live in, and I said colonial times, there's nothing more that I'd prefer than to ride on a horse and farm all day.
And go to work on your horse.
And go to work on my horse.
With a paycheck. Your wife is at home. Your 3 kids are at home, and you're good.
That's it. Not have to worry about, oh man, I only got 3 likes on my Instagram post today. Nobody's gonna pay me any money.
I only have 3 likes and $5 in my bank account.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
No.
This conversation has been so awesome, and I'm really glad that we kind of acted on our desire or the thought to, hey, let's interview Jocelyn, because I really felt that you brought a lot of value today. So we want to thank you so much for taking the time to come to the studio, to have this interview. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are going to learn a lot when it comes to entrepreneurship, the struggles, encouragement, whether it is something that maybe regarding weight loss or dealing with that. Make sure you guys go follow Jocelyn Roman. Let them know where they can find you so they can join and be part of this journey with you.
So if you want to follow my photography page, which you should,
yes,
it's at Taken by Jocelyn. So just Taken by Jocelyn. And then if you want to follow my weight loss journey, it's just at Hey Joss, but like 2 Y, so HEYYJOCE.
Hey,
and I'm on YouTube. Exactly. I'm on YouTube. You just type in Jocelyn Roman, and I'm the first one that pops up when you.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's where you got to be when you're doing like a journey-based thing, like the journey to weight loss. You got to be on YouTube. That's it. You got to document that.
Yes. It feels like a full-time job sometimes. I don't post as often. I probably post every 2 weeks, but yeah, I love YouTube.
It's that editing that's really annoying.
Yes.
Any kind of editing, I can't.
Guys, make sure you go follow her Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. Stop being lazy. Go do it right now. I'm telling you right now, I followed her because I just learned about the journey a couple days ago, and I have already been encouraged, and the quality's great visually. It's just an awesome place to be, and go support her business. If you need some photography, contact her. Hit her up in an email. What's the website, by the way?
Takenbyjocelyn.com.
Takenbyjocelyn.com. Call her. All the information is there. Go check out her photos. I'm telling you, she's going to be the photographer for my wedding. All right? I'm telling you that right now.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Jocelyn, thank you so much for joining us again. We're going to be praying for the success of your business and for your weight loss journey as well.
Awesome. Thank you for
Hope to have
having
you
me.
back sometime very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
With all the gems that we got Jocelyn to drop for you guys, I just got one thing to say to all the listeners and watchers. You're welcome.
Dax Hammer.
And Julian.